What's up? This is Nak3d Eli, the mostly unclothed gamer, here with episode 4 of Tuesday Tactics, the series where we're gonna help casual competitive players improve their multiplayer skill level. If you're watching this, you're the kind of player who likes to have fun, but you also want to win, also want to show off in front of your friends, show them some new tips and tricks and techniques, and explain to them how to be a boss. Then this series should hopefully help you out. Today we're focusing on angles, specifically on the map Complex, which is such a long-range map. It is completely dominated by the angles that you use. Now I'll admit, off the start I grabbed the sword like an idiot. I should have grabbed the sniper, especially since we're talking about angles. Sniping is all about the angles that you can get offensively and defensively, but instead we're gonna have to use the sword for a little bit. So basically, if you're using a close quarters range weapon, you want to block off as many angles to the outside world as possible and try to lure the enemies into your trap. You don't want to rush out into the open. So right here, there's that guy over there. If I'd rush straight at him, I would obviously be completely dead, but instead I can lure him in by putting a few shots, and then he's going to go down easily. Smash to the face, plus 10. If you'll notice, our team is losing off the start. This was a game I searched by myself, so none of my friends here helping me out. Pretty much a one-man army. But like I said in the last episode on awareness, you can always help your teammates, and they can help you by thinking of them as chess pieces and positioning yourself to take out the enemy kings, quote unquote, one by one. So right here, I see this guy chasing my teammate. I figured this is going to be a really good opportunity for us to 2v1 this guy. Push down, gonna get some angles on him that he doesn't know I'm behind him, and now I'm going to try and use this cover right here while I'm fighting him. Notice that I'm backing down in case I needed an escape route for when he was shooting me. Now, staying alive, I've talked about in previous episodes or perhaps in previous videos from back in Reach. Staying alive is more important than getting kills. A lot of players who start off don't understand this. They're like, oh, I got 20 kills and you got 15 kills, I'm better than you. And then you go and you look at the deaths and they have like 30 deaths, right? And they went -10. And that is the opposite of helping your team. That means they just rushed out constantly. They weren't helping your team set up. And they're probably a pretty useless player, and they're obviously part of what contributed to the enemy team's win. So I'd say try to be a cautious player, especially when you have so much cover on this map. Right here, I did not know that sniper saw me, or I would not have pushed up. I got stuck, a little nag on that walkway, and I was going to be taken out right here. Let's start talking about offensive angles. So that guy's up on top. I'm going to call it main building. I don't really have like set callouts for all the maps yet, but let's call that main building for the purposes of this video, and talk about the DMR. It's 3x scope. Fires ridiculously fast. It's such a great weapon, almost a power weapon compared to the other primary rifles that you can choose in Halo 4. Right here, I'm in a terrible position getting 2v1 by these guys. That's an example of playing poor defensive angling. I didn't really have a good escape route, and I paid for it with my life. Even though offensively I can be shooting at these guys like that, they have better angles in that situation. Normally, the guy with the height advantage is going to win whatever it is, a DMR battle, a BR battle, a rifle battle, we'll call it, okay? Since there's multiple power weapons, or not power weapons, primary rifles in this game. So right here, those guys have the height advantage. What that means is they could pull back, they could crouch, they could hide themselves, pop out in another area, and I'm basically stuck on this platform with one little piece of cover. So right here, I'm going to make the poor decision to stay in this area, and by the time I try to leave, this guy's going to push up on me. So here I realize, all right, I'm playing a little bit too defensively. Let's try to get some more offensive angles, try to get up on that building, and basically just try to take this team down. They're still up by 5 kills. We're going to need to take map control if we're going to even try to win this game. I don't think there was any callouts from my team in this, no communication. Unfortunately, as is expected these days on Xbox Live, I miss the good old days of ranked Halo 3 when everyone's calling out and trying their panties off. But instead, you know, this is Slayer Pro, so players still care about winning, still trying to have a good time though while we're doing it. So now this guy was unaware of me, and that caused me to get an assassination. I did not mean to hold the trigger down, or whatever it was, the bumper, to assassinate him fully animated, but that's what happened. Now I'm going to try and get around this team, basically get behind them, get some good angles so that they can't shoot at me. And this is where I'm really going to start focusing on the offensive stuff. as well as defensive. So this guy's using angles really well right there. I did not know that there was a platform that you could stay on during that, and I don't know if this is even the same guy, but he's got like full shields. So I'm going to drop down, take him out, get some good shots in. Clearly, if you're playing angles well, you need to also have a good solid shot. If you have good angles but you're missing all over the place, then you're never going to win. Right here, notice that I try to hug the wall, try to hug that slope while I'm shooting that guy, and I think that blocked at least 1 or 2 of his shots on me, which allowed me to get that kill. Now right here, this is one of the power positions, clearly the biggest power position on the map. Look at all these beautiful angles around the map. I can look this way and see that spawn. I can look the other way and see the other spawn. Basically, up here, you are a god on Complex. Now they did a good job of balancing it from the exterior. If people have jetpacks or can or know that you're up there, like basically all the way overextended on the top mid portion of it, you're going to be cleaned up instantly. So it's smart to hang out by these slopes and try to stay alive as much as possible. This guy trying to get around us, but we are aware that he's there. We're going to take him out. And now we're just looking for their team, especially on a no radar playlist. It's really important to try and be aware, look around at all times. You'll notice I'm never just looking in one direction. Oh god, that reminded me of the boy band, sorry. But yeah, I'm always trying to look around in many directions, trying to see where the enemy team is. Now, since my teammates are over here, I'm also trying to stay with them as much as possible, get back to the top of this portion, and try to block off any red members coming from the other side. Now, they have a sniper that I had no idea was over there on the left side, and he had a really solid angle on me, right? I had no cover whatsoever from him. Even if he got the body shot and I was one shot, he would have gotten that kill with his DMR because I had nowhere to go. So that was probably a bad place to be on my part, knowing that if I had known that he was over there. And that's what angles are all about. It's knowing where enemy is, where you should position yourself, and then trying to get really solid shots using cover at the same time. So me and a teammate are going to push up here, trying to push up. Let's see what's going to happen. Nope, going to stay hang out in the research facility. He's going to go out though, and let's see what happens when we head up. There's going to be a guy over here, so this is not the best angle to be fighting him from, but it's not terrible either, right? And then we're going to go up here, take this guy out, and right here I could not believe that that guy survived. I was in shock. I was like, I definitely shot him in the head. Oh well, I'm going to get cleaned up. And notice that since we took that main building, the score has reversed. We are now up by 4 kills with 4 minutes left on the clock, which is a great place to be in. I'm basically still looking for their team. That's another thing. This map is ginormous, right? There's pretty much nowhere that you could be looking for their team at all times unless you perfectly know the spawn system and you are getting a really clean spawn rotation on them. They could be anywhere. They could be in that sword building where you pick up the sword at the beginning of the game. They could be at red spawn. They could be at blue spawn. They could be at no man's land. All these buildings that no one ever goes in. They could be hiding, you know, for whatever reason. So this map isn't really good for competitive play. That's why it's not featured in MLG. Even though it is dominated by angles, the angles are a little bit overpowered on this top building. If you are smart, you know how to use the cover, drop down, you aren't overextending yourself. And like I said, it's just way too big for 4v4, in my opinion. If you have really aggressive teams, sure, it works out. But if you have really passive teams or no radar, for example, as we see right here, it just leads to a little bit slower game. Right here, we're only up by 2 kills, still looking for the team. And I'm going to see this guy over here. Now, notice how I'm using that cover, sort of backing up, making it so that he can't get a shot at me, and I control when I poke out to give him those shots. But here, they're going to have multiple guys shooting at me. I'm going to be taken out. I'm going to try and push up there immediately to clean up this guy. I have no idea how I spawned literally right below him, but I'll take it. You know, this is a great power position to be in. It's a great time to head up if you are close to that building. That guy's going to be absolute. Call it out. He is going to go down. And right there, if I had known that there was a team there, a teammate, I can't talk anymore, an enemy there, then I would have backed up, right? That would have saved my skin using the cover, blocking his angle, playing a little bit more defensively. And that's, I'd say, honestly, what the best players are really good at. It's not so much as getting the offensive angles, it's getting the defensive angles where you can stay alive using your escape routes no matter what. I have no idea how this guy did not see me, or maybe he just had tunnel vision and was really focused on that guy. Right here, I was like, I gotta pop out, try to get this triple, and of course, gonna get punished for it. So now we're gonna go towards, this is, I think, the red team spawn. And we're gonna see where the enemy is. I'm pretty sure they're back here, so we're trying to focus around them. Teammates had shots on him, gonna get a clean headshot. Now we're looking for the rest of their team. He did not know that we were there, or else maybe he wouldn't have charged, or maybe he would have charged. He's just like, whatever, I don't care, it's a tie game, I'll just give them a kill, whatever. 530, 520, extremely close right now. We're all bundled up in here. This is a good example of what you do not want to do. You don't want to be all bundled up in one building where they could be set up anywhere outside the map watching the door. They could be grenading it. They could be camping the door with a power weapon like a shotgun, scatter shot, whatever. So yeah, try to, this is, I guess I should have talked a little bit about that. If you spread out around the map, then you can increase the amount of angles that your team has. That's why you don't want to have all 4 people in exactly one place, but you all want to have as many angles as possible to help your team out and play that game of chess. So not everyone has the same angle, but other people can clean up kills if they're trying to get away from your angles. So this game is coming to a close. We need 2 more kills. Are we gonna do it? Or are we gonna get spawn killed the hell out of and then let them win the game? Let's see, 590, 540. We just need uno mas kill. And gonna clean this guy up here for that 600 victory match complete. Hope you learned a little bit about the angles on Complex. 23 kills, doing aight. If you want to see the last episode on awareness, click on the video on the left. And if you want to see my first episode of breaking Halo 4 with a tactical jetpack out of a drift, click on the video on the right. Subscribe for more. This is Nak3d Eli, and thanks for watching.